Hello everybody. The Warriors held off the Lakers in a wild ending. So the Lakers had just gone up 6. Steph has the ball and he's trying to counterattack fast. Otto Porter Jr., who was an unsung hero down the stretch, he made so many big plays. He's coming over here to set a screen on Avery Bradley, who had been dogging Steph. And that forces Anthony Davis to switch. Avery Bradley fights over the screen so that he can double team Steph. He's not going to let Steph just ISO Anthony Davis. First, Steph might have just shot this, but the second he saw Otto Porter Jr., he's no longer being guarded by Avery Bradley, so he just cuts right down the middle. So if this pass goes through, Otto Porter has an angle. Austin Reaves here will try to contest, but Otto Porter should be able to get a layup over him. And if somehow Reaves gets this incredible rotation, then he's leaving Jordan Poole completely open. And there's no one anywhere close who can rotate to Poole. So one way or the other, if this pass gets through, this is a super high percentage shot. OPJ is cutting down the lane. If Steph can only whip this pass over to him. Ooh, nice play by Avery Bradley. But unfortunately for Bradley, it goes straight to Klay. The basketball gods wanted this to happen, and Klay obliged them. He said, "It's my holy duty to shoot this." The Lakers run a play. It looks like they're clearing out this whole side of the court for LeBron, and he's going to try to blow by Wiggins. And the only person who can help is Otto Porter Jr. So the Lakers are going to try to occupy OPJ by having his man, Anthony Davis, set this pin down for Austin Reaves, will pop up, and then that's going to force Otto Porter Jr. to think about switching, because Klay should in theory be behind Austin Reaves. And then as Otto Porter Jr. switches, LeBron should be seeing him in the rearview mirror as he whips by. So interesting little play. But Klay messes it all up. He doesn't cooperate with this plan. He sees this pin down coming and he fights through the screen to completely jam Austin Reaves. Bonk. A really good job, Klay, keeping Austin Reaves from taking this pin down. Otto Porter Jr. is completely free to rotate, so LeBron will get past Andrew Wiggins. OPJ rotates to stop the drive, which leaves Anthony Davis free to roll to the basket. This is a pretty good looking play. If this pass gets through, this is an automatic dunk. But Otto Porter Jr., have I mentioned he made so many huge plays down the stretch? He just gets his arm up in the way and deflects the pass. Bonk. You've seen this kind of fast break so many times in the past, right? Klay tries to beat everyone down the court. He's going to get the kick ahead pass. Klay is destined to miss this shot, but here's Russell Westbrook, who has inside position on Otto Porter Jr. I actually thought Westbrook had a pretty controlled game today. He didn't do too many wacky things, and he had some nice lob passes. I guess he's been trying to change up the way he plays because he's been completely scapegoated by the Lakers fans. But Russ has somewhat overinflated his rebounding totals in the past because so many of them are uncontested that his teammates give up. So here's a chance for him to have a big box out and get this rebound. Shot goes up. Westbrook kind of looks like he's just sort of chilling. He's not getting his body on Otto Porter Jr. or anything. And OPJ says, "Thank you very much," and just walks around him like he's a traffic cone. And gets this massive rebound. Oof. Have I mentioned that OPJ has made a bunch of low-key massive plays down the stretch? And he gets fouled. This is a completely classic Klay Thompson play. The ball is swinging over here to make all the defensive eyeballs look this way. In the background, Klay Thompson is going to get 2 screens. First from Steph Curry, who loves to screen. He's going to set this pin-in screen for Klay, who's going to whip around. And that's going to force Avery Bradley to switch. There's a second screen coming, Jordan Poole coming over to set the screen on Avery Bradley, who's following Klay. The Lakers really need Austin Reaves to jump out to stop this play. But unfortunately, somehow Reaves gets his back completely to Klay, so he's looking this way. Klay sneaking around this way. Poole getting very much in Avery Bradley's way, so he cannot follow. So Klay will just get the half second he needs. This pass is on time right at the right moment, so he can catch and immediately shoot. Beautiful. This is a straight Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis pick and roll. I think this is a great idea by the Lakers. The Warriors are playing small, so they can't really contain Anthony Davis if he catches the ball anywhere near the basket. So Davis sets a screen, Westbrook goes by, OPJ has to switch. Jordan Poole and OPJ, I don't know if they were exactly on the right page here because Jordan Poole fought through the screen to stay with Westbrook. So I think there's not clarity here about whether OPJ should be staying with Anthony Davis. And so Davis just kind of wanders in the backside, and Russ throws this crazy angle spin, but it's kind of beautiful. Womp. Steph brings it up, attacking fast. Here's a quick hitter. Simple play the Warriors love to run. Andrew Wiggins setting a quick pin down Klay. He had been going this way, but he reverses. Westbrook does not handle this super suavely. LeBron James says, I gotta jump out on Klay. Westbrook kept fighting through, which means Andrew Wiggins has a really clear runway to the basket. And Klay, good job reading this. Probably Andrew Wiggins, if he just went up hard, he could finish between Austin Reaves and Russell Westbrook, but I think he was a little concerned that Anthony Davis would come by and just delete this, so he pulls it back out. Wiggins says, nah, I've got the mismatch I want. This is LeBron James, one-time great defender, but right now, semi-cruising through the regular season, semi-injured, semi-old. Right in his face. That was a pretty gutsy three. But you may remember last play, the Lakers ran this exact play, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, pick and roll, and it looked like OPJ and Jordan Poole were not on the same page, but in the meantime they straighten out their defense. So Anthony Davis sets a screen, Westbrook takes it, and Poole just says, fine, I'm going to switch. I'm going to take Anthony Davis, OPJ, you take Russell Westbrook, and then we're just going to work it out with help down low. We're all small. I mean, what are we going to do against Anthony Davis? So at least no one's running clear to the basket. So here's Poole sort of leaning on Anthony Davis. I like the idea of this. Westbrook whips the pass over here, which should give a better angle to Anthony Davis' backdoor cutting Poole. Klay does a really good job rotating, and Steph also getting in the way with his waving arms. So this turns into a straight post up. Bradley says, fine, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to bring Steph with me. In the meantime, Steph says, fine, I'll follow you. But he's sort of lingering just in case Anthony Davis blows by. And then Otto Porter Jr. is supposed to be guarding Russell Westbrook, and he doesn't feel compelled to stay right attached to him. So he's also getting ready in case Anthony Davis wants to go this way. So there's this kind of wall here. It must be a little frustrating for Anthony Davis because he is bigger than Klay, but Klay's guarding the middle. OPJ is guarding the right. Steph is guarding the left. Anthony Davis is fine. I'm going to try to back my way in. They come and double team Anthony Davis. Who's open? I think it would be Avery Bradley on the back. We have Poole who has to zone these two guys on the back. And the pressure does get Anthony Davis to cough it up. It's looking pretty good for the Warriors. 4 seconds left. I mean, all the veterans are just sitting around. Bradley's spacing. Russ is, I guess, sort of setting this hammer screen. LeBron is chilling out here. And so Reaves is the only one who's moving, and he makes this tremendous cut. Here's the reverse angle on the pass from Davis. I'm not seeing a lot of contact here. I think maybe you could maybe argue that Poole sort of used his body to bump Reaves? Question mark. It's pretty subtle. That's a pretty soft foul. Westbrook stays with Steph. Avery Bradley stays with Steph. So Steph tries to bail out and immediately cut to see what happens, figuring something's going to break down. Avery Bradley has a little bit of an awkward closeout jumping up in the air, so Poole sidesteps. I don't mind this shot. I like that he's taking a big time shot. In the meantime, Otto Porter Jr. sees that the shot's going up. Have I mentioned he made so many big plays down the stretch? He's going to just turn around and says, well, it's my God-given right to every single offensive rebound. It's when the ball just takes a crazy bounce. OPJ was there. The immediate looking up to see one Captain Klay is completely open. Wham. Klay is just an automatic shooter on every offensive rebound. Bang. Wiggins tries to front Anthony Davis. LeBron gets it over him, which means someone's got to rotate. Otherwise, this will be a very violent dunk, and that's Klay. Weak side low man. Klay Thompson is rotated, which means someone is open. For the moment, it's Austin Reaves, and Anthony Davis does a good job finding him. Time for rotations. So Poole rotates to Reaves, and Otto Porter Jr. Xing to get to Avery Bradley. In a perfect world, Andrew Wiggins would be already going towards LeBron, but he just got bumped by Anthony Davis in this whole move, so he's a little off balance. He's going to be a little bit later than you'd want on the rotation. LeBron with the pump fake and the sidestep. Well, I mean, can you ask for a better shot? It's an open three. Nope. I don't know about this. So Steph, unlike certain other guards, was boxing out Anthony Davis, even though Anthony Davis is a foot taller than him. But Anthony Davis just reached right over the top, so I can't begrudge the rebound, but I don't really see a foul here on Steph. So even though the Lakers got perhaps gifted these game-tying free throws, they were too generous to accept the gift, and maybe Steph was in the background over here saying, "Ball don't lie." And then this is one of these free-for-all 50-50 balls where the ball just seems to become flubber and no one can hang on to it. Great effort on the board. Somehow it magically goes to Anthony Davis, who has a point-blank layup here. He refused the gift. More flubber ball. And then here, LeBron gets called for this foul on Andrew Wiggins. Okay, it's crunch time, and it's time for a simple play. Austin Reaves is here. Steph wants to pick on Austin Reaves. That's the play. So Klay will come and set a screen. Steph will take the screen and force Reaves to switch. That's the play. And so Otto Porter tries to complicate things by coming over to set a screen and say, "Hey, I'll bring Anthony Davis in here." But Steph says, no. I'd much rather take my chances with Austin Reaves. And you'll see Steph move his arm to wave Otto Porter to get out of there. So Otto Porter's going to retreat. In theory, Steph can ISO in peace, but Anthony Davis says, "You're not the boss of me. I don't have to follow you, OPJ." So Anthony Davis ends up saying, "I'm going to go double team Steph." I don't know fully if Austin Reaves knew that AD was coming because the entire left side is still open for the drive. Probably if Reaves knew it was coming, he'd shade over a little bit. Anthony Davis is coming from here. Austin Reaves is shading Steph this way. So it's a pretty easy decision for Steph to go left. LeBron's rotation is just too late to make a difference. Westbrook can't affect anything. Reaves is trying to block it from behind, but this finger roll is perfect. Maybe I shouldn't take Steph's beautiful ball handling for granted. He's going to step this way and then fake the step back. So here, he's planted his foot. This is the moment where he just hesitates, and it looks like he's going to bring his hand up under the ball so he can shoot it in Austin Reaves' face, and that makes Reaves lurch forward. So this beautiful hesitation moment, and then Steph's going to say nope, and then put his hand back on top, and then straighten out his dribble and go to the left. Ooh, just over the fingertips. So it's the end of the clock. I think you should foul as soon as you can when they're not shooting. Some people say, oh, you should milk the clock down to 4 seconds. I don't know why you're messing around like that. Just foul. So pretty much the entire time that 11 has the ball, we should have had a foul on this guy. Thanks to James Harden's cheapery, they made the rule that you only get 3 shots if you're in the upward motion of shooting. So none of this getting fouled and then just hoisting some baloney shot. Unfortunately, they didn't really apply the rule here. So there was no foul on this, which was really bad. And then dishing it off to LeBron. Steph covering LeBron. There's Steph grabbing LeBron, and the ball's down there. And there's a definite pause before he hoists up the shot. So LeBron got gifted 3 free throws to tie the game. But you know, the Lakers are a generous bunch, and they probably felt bad about the gift. And so LeBron graciously clanks the first one, makes the second one. I like LeBron's attempt to miss the last free throw, which he has to do, right? Most people aim for the front rim and have it come back in some crazy direction, but he very delicately puts it off the back rim. Like he arcs it really high so the ball bounces up And I think the idea is that maybe Anthony Davis can go, or LeBron can go up over the top and just dunk this back. Really pretty clever. Look at this boxing out. Andrew Wiggins aggressively boxing out. Kevon Looney has Anthony Davis on his back. Otto Porter Jr. trying to step across to stop LeBron from coming through. Westbrook did kind of get leverage on Wiggins. He could have gone up for this. But Anthony Davis cannot get by Kevon Looney. That's just a great box out. But just when you thought Westbrook might get to this, of all people, Otto Porter Jr., who made so many big plays down the stretch, have I mentioned that? Reaches over. Doink! Just pokes it out of there. OPJ reaches up and then doinks the ball to the side. And after that huge layup, Steph, very much in the zone. He's staring off into the crowd, completely in the flow. And Poole pulling up, wanting the mid-5. Tricky situation for Steph. Is he going to break his stare, break being in the flow in order to do this high five? No, he's going to try to do it blind. The mark of a champion, adapting to adversity. He's just going to swing his hand up and just try to hit Poole on the upswing. Okay, very nice. And oh, I like Poole adjusted a little bit to make the contact a little cleaner. That's teamwork. Steph still staring off. I don't know, is he looking at the basketball gods? And Jordan Poole says, I'm going to help you stay in the flow by cracking your rib. Here's an elbow because we're men and I'm going to show my affection for you with light violence. Bonk.